it's very, very retail politics oriented. And so I guess I relearned the fun or the joy of that, of actually connecting to people and hearing their story, hearing what they want from their president. Just like almost 20 years ago, I was going around the neighborhoods of San Antonio and figuring out what people wanted from their councilman.
Yeah. So it's just at a much larger scale.
Yeah, I mean, politics is fundamentally the same. It's just, the level is different. It's still fundamentally about connecting with people and them understanding that you would do something to make their lives better.
Is this a critical stretch for your campaign? I mean, you need one more poll, 2% or above, to get into the next debate.
This is a critical stretch because of the DNC rules, because I need one more poll to get into the September debate. Obviously, if I'm not in that debate, it impacts everything about the campaign. I think if I don't make the September debate, there's still October, but I'm focused on getting into the September debate because we want to keep getting stronger and stronger in the campaign.
People I talk to people in Iowa, a lot of them haven't made up their mind yet. They said they're waiting for the herd to thin.
Yeah.
How do you avoid being in the thinning, I guess you say?
Well, I mean, the way that you avoid being thinned out of the herd is you got to get into those debates. And that's why, I'm glad that we have 3 out of the 4 polls, but we need this last poll to get into the last debate. Once that happens, then you'll be dealing probably with about 10 or 11 candidates, so it gets smaller, cuts it in half, basically. And then I think people will begin to focus more and more as we get closer to February when they caucus here in Iowa. My goal is to be there as this thing gets smaller and smaller, so that I think that I can compete well with the other candidates like I have on the debate stages twice now. A lot of people that didn't know me, I got onto their radar screen. They didn't expect that I was going to do as well as I did. And if I can keep doing that and beating expectations, then I think that I can keep climbing.
How much do you think when you're out and you're talking here at the Iowa State Fair, or you're in Nevada, or you're in New Hampshire, about being the first Latino candidate for president?
I think about it. People bring it up all the time, but also I feel like I have a special responsibility to a lot of young Hispanic boys and girls that are getting to see somebody that looks like them up there on the debate stage, knowing that somebody that looks like them can run for president. That's a very important message, especially given what we're going through in the country these days.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Does what happened in El Paso magnify that at all?
Yeah, I mean, what happened in El Paso, in many ways was like other incidents we've seen, whether it was in Dayton or in Orlando or other places. Of course, for the Hispanic community, it was different because that shooter specifically targeted Hispanics. And there's no question in the last couple of years, there's this environment that the president has helped to create that is anti-immigrant and anti-Hispanic. So for me, there is special meaning in being able to go and hopefully show the best part of what our community can be, what we can do, to show people that it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, that everybody has the same kind of talent and ability.
Do you think the president's racist?
I believe that he's racist. And in my life, I have always been very, very careful about using that word. I think you have to be careful. I don't think you should just label people a racist, because that's a serious charge. At the same time, this president has made it clear time and time again, from his beginning comments in his campaign to the comments that he made about that Mexican-American judge not being able to do his job because he was Mexican, to the send her back comments. All of those things are very powerful evidence that he is racist.
What do you make of your brother's comments and putting out the Trump supporters and things like that? I mean, you got a lot of questions about that. How do you react to what your brother put out there?
The information that my brother put out there is information that is publicly available. That is the whole point of campaign finance disclosure, is that people's information was there. My brother did not put anybody's address. He didn't put their phone number. He put the fact that these folks had maxed out. They had given the biggest contribution that you could to Donald Trump. And he did it, Joaquin did that, as he said, as a lament that in our city that is more than 60% Hispanic, you have companies, whether it's Bill Miller's or others, that have built their whole fortune off of the Hispanic community and have a lot of Hispanic employees that are taking that money, their profit, and are putting that money into the pocket of a politician, Donald Trump, that is putting ads on Facebook, calling it an invasion and fostering hate and division toward the Hispanic community. And so I believe that my brother, did something that has a good point to it, which is, why are these businesses supporting a politician that is making life worse for the Hispanic community when they're in this town that is more than 60% Hispanic?
A lot of Republicans especially coming out and making a big deal about what Joaquin said. Your reaction to that? I mean, do you think they're trying to intimidate him to back up?
No, these folks, these right-wingers always try and do this to make things seem like everybody's equally to blame. That's not true. Donald Trump is actively fostering hate and division in our country, and people who are contributing to his campaign, these wealthy donors that are contributing to his campaign, they are putting money into the pockets of a politician that is putting ads on Facebook, that is saying this is an invasion, that is creating an anti-Hispanic environment in this country. And so I believe that what my brother did was, makes perfect sense. And I think that he would do it again, and I see the rationale for it.
When did you become such a good debater? I'm not saying you weren't a good debater when I did a mayoral debate with you,
yeah.
But you seem to be more accomplished now as a debater than you were when you ran for city council or the mayor. I hope I'm not offending you.
No.
That.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think part of that is just more experience and having been in more high-profile, high-pressure situations, whether it was the DNC speech in 2012 or the times that I had to present at the White House or speak in front of the president or any number of other things. You grow, you learn, you get better, you deal with more pressure, and that's what helps you be able to perform on a stage with very talented politicians in their own right.
There's not some debate guru that you have that put this magic powder on you.
I wish. But I should be clear. We have a very good team of folks who have helped for me to prepare. It's not all me by myself. But I think mostly what's helped is that I've had some experience dealing with pressure situations. And that's a pressure situation with 15 million people, 20 million people watching you, and knowing that you have other folks that are coming at you, and you got to try and make your point and also be persuasive. I just think it's a matter of the experience that I've had in the last few years.
Last question: do you take San Antonio with you wherever you go?
I do. The whole reason that I got into politics in the first place was because I had a chip on my shoulder about our city, about San Antonio, and I wanted to make sure that more people who grew up where I did could have the same kind of wonderful opportunities in life. And everywhere I go, sometimes I'll see a street sign for San Antonio Road, and it reminds me of San Antonio. I still live there, my family lives there. I'm gonna hopefully die in San Antonio. I'll have my cemetery plot there one day. I love the city of San Antonio, and I'll do everything that I can to continue to make sure that it prospers.
Are you looking forward to the fair with your family?
Yeah, we're going to get a couple of hours to actually just be tourists here at the State Fair and have a little bit of fun. Karina and Cristian are looking forward to eating some of these fried Oreos.
Yeah. This is not your first trip, though. You've been before.
I was here last year. Yeah, so this is my second trip. I was here last year. The crowds were a little bit smaller, and I think I had no media attention, or hardly any. And I only got some iced tea, and some barbecue. But their barbecue, frankly, can't compare to Texas barbecue. So I got to get like corn or something else. Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
For sure.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Thanks a lot.